Okay, we should be live now.
Okay.
Let's do a quick post that we're live. All right. Awesome. Okay, for now we have 2 viewers. Good night. Just gonna wait until we have about a few more viewers, and then we can get started with our presentation for tonight. Good night. We have 7 viewers right now. Okay, I found the link. Hello, Sylvia. Sylvia is one of our directors for Heritage Education Network Belize. Okay, we have 12 viewers now. Just went a little bit more so we could get started. Okay, good night, everyone. Hope everyone has been having a lovely Friday evening, Friday night. Tonight, we are here to have an addition to our series, our mental health wellness series. And this month, we're focusing on entrepreneurship and small business owners, specifically the struggles they go through, especially during the COVID pandemic, and ways that you could deal with these struggles. My co-host tonight is Miss Sahira Lazana. She was a guest the last time.
Hi, good night, everyone.
And our 2 guests today is Vianey Njeri Blades. She is a certified exercise psychologist and founder of Soul Spiral Wellness. She's an ambassador and board member of Rhythm of Change Belize, a nonprofit organization. Our second guest is Miss Christa Courtenay. Ms. Christa Courtenay is a professional counselor. She specializes in areas that cover a broad spectrum of life. She has a master's degree in mental health and rehabilitation counseling from the University of South Florida. Good night, everyone.
So, welcome to our guests and also to every one of you guys checking out our live tonight, whether it be from home or from your small business. Welcome. We hope that this is beneficial to you all.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, tonight will be about the struggles that entrepreneurs actually go through, the daily struggles of small business owners, and on top of that, the additional stress that we all went through during the COVID pandemic. That was with the lockdown, with the certain regulations that we had to comply with, and all the changes and the way we had to adapt to this new era that we live in today. Now, to start off with the live discussion, we want to have a small 15 to 20-minute presentation by Ms. Sahira, Ms. Vianey, and Ms. Christa. So you could start with that and you could take it away now. I'll have up the slide in a bit. Share this.
All right, well, let's talk about COVID and business. Um,
Sorry about that.
no problem.
Could take it away now.
So let's talk about this very important topic that we've been meaning to address for some time now. And finally, tonight, we have found the perfect people to enrich this live. So let's go on to our first slide. COVID has basically affected everyone and everything this year. I mean, from people to adults, children, teenagers, whatever your profession, you were affected by COVID. And that also implies that businesses were affected, be it for the best or for the worst. I mean, we've seen many negative effects of COVID in business, such as startups have been struggling. For example, my family owns a business, and we decided to make a very big investment this year, and then we had to shut down, and our part timers aren't having as many shifts anymore. I mean, we've had to adjust to COVID. But there has also been some benefits from COVID or some positive effects with regards to entrepreneurship, because as we have seen, so many new entrepreneurs have come to light. We have so many people creating things, so many people offering different services, and it's quite beautiful to see. So, no matter the size of your business, be it a big company, a small business, you were affected by COVID in some way. And this can be good, but it can also, and normally it does also, bring along a lot of anxiety and stress for people. I mean, if we can go to the other side, we'll see that basically COVID came with many challenges. Even though it came with so many opportunities, we've had to face things like, Marco, can we move on to the other slide, please? We've had to prepare our staff or ourselves if we're a one person business. We can also see that many people were terminated, or many contracts were ended during COVID, and has left a lot of people without employment. Now, listen, if you are working, for example, as a tour guide, and today you are making bread, you're making wine, you're selling fruits, you are now your own boss, you are an entrepreneur, and you have also had to adjust to COVID, because now you need to find ways to protect yourself when you're out there selling these things, when you're promoting your business as well. Um, so sanitization and protection is very important. We've also seen a big struggle with regards to, we had a lockdown earlier in the year, which has affected many people. Ms. Christa and Vianey will tell you a bit more about their struggles. Marco and I also know what it's like to be affected by that lockdown. And even though it was necessary, we had to adapt to those things. We had many companies have had to accommodate for either ending contracts or finding ways to provide a full or partial salary for their employees during lockdown, because I mean, everyone needs to eat, and employers aren't heartless, you know. We value our employees, and we also care about their well-being, so we try to accommodate for them to also have some sort of income. um, there's also challenges that we've had to face, such as maybe you run a restaurant or a place that handles food. There is an expiration to fruits, veggies, and food, and just accommodating for all that loss, or trying to find a way to use all those products before they go bad. And I mean, that's an investment. It's very stressful to lose money to invest in something and then not get returns because of something such as a virus, a natural disaster that you cannot control. Another thing is we've had to adjust. Many people have had to learn to use Zoom. Many people have had to get very acquainted with the internet because many, if not all things right now are via Zoom, is online. We're having online meetings, online sales, or promotions are mostly online. Everything is online, and it might have caused many people um, a bit of trouble to migrate to that. But as we can see, many companies have been able to adapt to that. I mean, I don't know, but if you open buy and sell or the marketplace on Facebook, you might see a lot of people that sell wine, a lot of people that sell jewelry, lots of people sell bread. I mean, everyone is selling something, and it's beautiful that people are adapting, that people are learning. But again, it can be very stressful because I mean, I have had to post all our products and all the things that we sell, and if people tag us, we have to keep up with it. And even that is something that you need to kind of adapt to. You need to learn to also schedule time for. I have to post all of these things on social media today, on our platform today. I have to schedule this in now because it is important. It is an essential part of our business. And many things are, if it's not up on social media, in a reel, in a exist. So that is also something that we have to consider as entrepreneurs or business owners that we've had to adapt to. Um, and one of the last things that has one of many challenges, because I don't think I'm covering them all tonight, but another major challenge that we've had to face is protecting ourselves from our own customers. I can speak from personal experience. I mean, sometimes your customers are a bit, I don't know what's the word for it. I don't want to seem rude either, but for example, um, they want you to trust them, but you need to make sure that whoever's going into your business place or you are dealing with is COVID free or is following all the safety measures. Please wash your hands. Please use the hand sanitizer. Please wear your mask properly. I mean, as a business owner, you don't want to tell your customer what to do because the customer is always right. But in this case, you kind of have to tell your customer what to do because even if I know you just spray your hand with hand sanitizer in your car, miss, but for both our safeties, can you please wash your hands? And many customers will fight you on it. They'll say, I just sprayed my hand. I just use alcohol. You want to see it? So even that can be stressful for someone because it is literally your life, it is your health that you are risking to attend to this person. And all that you ask for is their cooperation, but you don't always get it. And that can also be stressful. It's all these little things that we've had to learn, that we've had to adapt to, that we've had to enforce on our community that can be very stressful. But, and what's new to me, I mean, what is beautiful is that despite all these things, this year, if we take a look at the next slide, we've had a boom in small businesses coming out of nowhere. I mean, from Orange Walk, Belmopan, Cayo, every district has a new business owner. I mean, take a look at, for example, Mecha's Irish Cream, um, Zest making jewelry. Um, we've had people making candles, Shade and Co and Orange Walk. Belize has basically went from importing 100% of our products to now finding solutions to the things that we once had easy access to and now we're struggling to find or are struggling to afford. people are coming up with solutions. A boom in, there's a creative surge happening, and it's beautiful. And I love it. I love that you can even realize that women, most big and small businesses are owned by men, but women are really just going for it this year. And it is amazing. I am inspired. I love it. Um, so, once again, just a reminder, if you are making something, if you are reselling something, if you are providing for yourself, if you're selling something to the public, be it a good or a service, you are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, and it is okay to admit that, because then you can move forward to accepting, okay, I am a business owner now, and I have a new kind of stress. I have anxiety coming out from places that it's never been, and now we can face it together. I mean, a person who organizes a business, who provides something, who financially takes financial risks, is an entrepreneur. If you're making coconut crust to sell, you are an entrepreneur. And I like that we are supporting each other, that the community is coming together and saying, you know what, yeah, I don't need that candle from Bath and Body. I'll support the candle shop. Or I don't need to buy Bailey's this time. I'll support Mechas. So it's nice to know that we as a country are supporting each other. And it's also nice to be your own boss, but it's also a lot of work. Being your own boss basically means you are an employee to your business 24/7. And many of us, myself included, I know Marco, Miss Krista, and V are also guilty of this. It's very difficult to juggle your time, to be exact with the things that you offer to yourself, basically, because if you don't make money, you don't eat today. And that can generate a lot of anxiety and stress in people. So being your own boss is cool, but a lot of work. Um, but what's also good is many businesses have come together to support each other. I've seen collaborations between businesses. You open Instagram and all you see are giveaways by so many businesses who have joined forces and are now giving back to the community together, supporting each other. And it's very nice to see. I know here in Orange Walk, Mr. Romero opened a Facebook group for local entrepreneurs of Orange Walk, and it's a very nice group. Many people are saying, hey, I own this business and this is what I do, this is what I offer. There's people saying, here are 5 tips on how to help you manage your business properly. Here's 10 tips on how to promote your business. So we're helping each other, and it's really nice. But it doesn't mean that sometimes we don't feel alone, or sometimes we don't feel a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, and just feel like we need to scream. Owning your own business comes with a lot of struggles. Starting your business can come with many challenges. And I think Vianey can tell us a lot about that based on her experiences. So V, if you'd like to take it away now.
Thank you for sharing all of that, Nazira. Like they mentioned, my name is Vianey Blades. I am the founder and manager of Soul Spiral Wellness. And in the beginning, I started off just operating in a gym setting. So when you're operating in a gym setting, there's definitely one-on-one contact with your clients. And last year, I transitioned into an online-based business. However, I was only dealing with a few one-on-one clients. And that totally changed when the restrictions with the pandemic and everything started. So I realized that I actually just stopped working for a few months. A lot of it was really challenging for me mentally and emotionally. And I had to get a grip on, like, okay, how am I going to restructure my business from now onward? Because, there's financial restraint in many areas, and people who are willing to invest a certain amount of money into their health and wellness, that those weren't priorities anymore for people, especially with everything happening, people losing their jobs. There's just so much uncertainty going on with the entire pandemic. So I, as a business owner and someone who's passionate about holistic wellness, definitely realized that, in order for me to walk the walk, I need to implement a lot of the things that I was already teaching my clients. And so, prior to all of this, in 2019, I had experienced a concussion. And so, with all of that, I had to really take a step back and look at my mental health and what was important for me. And really, that was the time that I learned that I need to take care of myself first. Because if I don't take care of myself, that will trickle into every other aspect of my life. And so, as someone who's always at the forefront and who is teaching someone about these things, I basically went through my own learning process in the early part of this year. And as most of you know already, wellness, and if Marco can turn to the next slide for me real quick, wellness really matters because it's crucial to your life to have a higher quality of life. It affects everything, and all our emotions are involved in different parts of our life. So, for example, if a business owner is stressed out about something that's happening in their personal life, that will definitely trickle into possibly how they interact with a customer that day, or how they treat an employee, or just emotions are definitely tied into so many things. If you are financially constricted, that will also add a level of stress into your life, into your relationships, into the way you interact with people and so forth. So, all of this is to say that it directly affects our actions and our emotions, because life is a continuous cycle. And that's part of the reason why I named my business the way it is, Soul Spiral Wellness, because at the center of everything that we do is our soul, it's our purpose, it's our mission, whether it might be big or small. Like Nazira said, whether you are selling, crust for a living or bread, that's part of your purpose. That's part of why you are here. It makes you feel fulfilled that you're generating for your own self. And so during the first phase of this pandemic and our lockdown here, I took the time to really invest in myself, really strategize. I knew that I had to shift gears. And interestingly, I was someone who wanted to launch something online in 2019, but there wasn't much receptivity in Belize when it came to all of that. So, in a way, I felt like I was a little bit ahead of what actually was happening this year. And, I started seeing everyone going on Zoom and doing like online stuff. And, I was just really bummed out because I was like, man, I wanted to do this from last year and now everyone is doing it. So where do I fit into all of this? That was the main thing that I feel like I struggled with. Where do I really fit in? And I also promote meditation and yoga as a holistic way of life. Um, that definitely ties into a lot of the things that I do. So I took the time to just meditate. I meditated more this year than I ever did in my entire life. And it really got me to the point where I felt like, okay, there's a purpose and reason why all of this is happening. We're in our houses. Most of us are like, away from society and people for the most part. And people who would often go to the gym or go to, a workout class or something like that, they sought out social interaction while they were getting the physical benefits from exercising. And so I decided that, okay, I'm going to take all of these things into perspective and create something that I know would definitely help our community, and specifically for women. And women take on so many different roles. We have to be mothers, we have to be wives, we have to be daughters, we have to be business women, and it requires a lot, especially because we are naturally emotional beings. We're definitely more connected to our emotions than most men are, and so I definitely could relate to that. And so I decided that, okay, we're doing things online now. There's no going back. Things have definitely shifted, and people are more receptive to this now. So, again, facing all my fears, I went ahead and designed a online program, an online wellness program. And I did not know how it would be received by the public. Again, as Zahira mentioned, there's a lot of risks that you have to take. There's a lot of investment. More than anything, I think one of the things that I really struggled with was overcoming my self limiting beliefs. And that was really, really tough because, for the most part, the work that I do is very new to people here. Most of the time, you'll hear about a personal trainer or you'll hear about a yoga instructor, but not someone that combines everything into one thing, right? It's like, are you this or are you that? And if Marco can turn to the next slide, I'll show you that that's definitely what holistic wellness is about. It's not separating one thing or the other, but knowing that everything intersects at one point. And for us here at Soul Spiral Wellness, that's your spirituality. Whatever you believe in, it doesn't have to be the same as me or anyone else in our group or in our tribe, but that's specific to you. And as long as you continue cultivating that, it will it will bloom and blossom into your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. All of those things are fully integrated into a wellness program. And so that was the main concept that I had. And I decided that, if you can turn to the next slide, Marco, I decided that I was going to start off with an online 5-week wellness program, something that's not too long and not too short, but for these women to really get a hold of, like, okay, what is this that we're actually doing here? We're moving, we're meditating, and we're cultivating a deeper sense of self by doing certain practices, which I can't mention because they're always a surprise. As long as you get into the program, then you get to find out like what it is that we're actually doing. But I can say that I've gotten so much positive feedback. I feel like, the whole pandemic has really shifted a lot and people are more receptive. And, the whole idea of mental health being such a priority this year, I think that's what really made people open up to the concept of even joining a wellness program now, because everyone's stressed, everyone has anxiety. And honestly, there's just a lot of different issues that people aren't willing to talk about. And when you create a program like this, it creates this sort of sisterhood. And that's really what I wanted, a sisterhood. Um, a group that really makes women feel like they're supported, because support is really needed during these times. And you can be in your home doing all your activities that you need to do during that wellness program, but it's really the group aspect of it that holds all of us together. And it, to me, I feel like it really benefits them to know that, okay, we share some of our struggles. Some days you just don't want to meditate, some days you might just not want to work out. And then we go ahead and look at all of these things like, okay, why am I feeling like this? You know, why do I feel like I want to eat something bad or something sweet compared to something that would benefit my health? Those are some of the questions that we really ask and sit with. And that's one of the main things. I feel like most people are reactive. We express our emotions outwardly, and few of us tend to sit with that and introspect and look a little bit deeper as to why I'm reacting a certain way towards certain things. So, emotional intelligence and cultivating that is a big part of this wellness program, and it's definitely transformative. I would never have thought that I would have, developed a program like this had it not been for the pandemic, had it not been for me really diving deeper into myself and understanding more about myself so that I can be of better service to these women. And, even though this is a wellness program, I also still emphasize the need to, possibly seek private therapy with a therapist. And I know that Miss Krista has a wealth of knowledge and wisdom in this area. So I would love to hand over the mic to her and let her talk more about that. But if anyone is interested, that's my Facebook and my Instagram page. You can definitely have a look and see what Soul Spiral is all about.
Wow, Vianey. Again, I can tell that you embody everything that you're sharing. Your tone of voice, it comes so naturally. And so thank you again for sharing, you and Zahira, so far. And thank you for inviting me to share. As I listen to both of you, there's a ton of things that go through my head. But I will try my best to stay on topic. We will not be able to solve all of everyone's problems tonight. But there are a couple of things that I think if we address, it's a good place to start. And then we want to give you a little information towards the end of my section about where you can get help. And then I think there's a question and answer period at the end of this section as well. So you can ask a more specific questions for either of us that you may have. So tonight I am presenting 5 tips to protect your mental health as an entrepreneur. So you'll notice some of them will be more business oriented and some of them are focused on your mental, emotional, and physical health as well, because they all go together. They're not separate. All of these things that we talk about, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, all of those things come together inside of us, the whole person that we are. And so you can't exactly separate them out, but some people, for instance, have stronger physical health, but not as robustly developed emotional or spiritual health. And so where you might be doing really well in some areas, there's others that you can build on to make sure that all of them are growing together and supporting each other. And so you experience in whatever it is that you're doing, your whole self comes and is present in whatever it is that you're doing in a holistic way. And so that is what we talk about when we're talking about like total wellness. It's kind of delving into each one of those areas to make sure that we're developing a little bit more in each of them. So I'm focusing more on the mental health, and then you have Vianey for spiritual and physical health, and then some of ours overlap. So first of all, for all of you who are attending tonight, if you have now identified after Zahira's presentation that you are an entrepreneur, even if you didn't want to use that word before, I applaud all of you. Being able to pivot, Vianey and Marco and Zahira and whoever else is listening in a time like this, I have to take my hat off and applaud you, because that is no easy feat. And so I hope that some of the tips we share tonight will help you keep going and make adjustments where you need to for the long haul. So the first tip, thank you, Marco. You have to set goals. If you're starting any project, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, you're cooking something, recipes, whatever, there has to be a goal. Sometimes we start things without a goal, but if we want to sustain them and we want them to work long term, it's a really good idea to set some goals. Even if you're not really sure what your goals need to be, or whether your goals are too big or too small, set a couple, and then we'll use the other tips that I'll go through to try to figure out how close you're coming. But without a goal, it's really hard to know if you're headed in the right direction or you're going further away from where you think you might want to be. So set an initial goal, because whatever you tend to focus on, having a goal helps you focus. Whatever you focus on generally becomes your reality. So if you focus on running for 2 miles without stopping, that's the thing that you're going to work towards. If you're focused on making an excellent sangria, you're going to keep testing and doing what you do. If you're focused on your spiritual wellness, then you're going to search out Vianey's program and you're going to sign up for her program. So whatever your goal is, it adds focus, and that thing generally then can come to life a bit more, and you're able to guide yourself, whether you're on track, moving closer to where it is you say you want to be, or whether you're moving further away. So the second tip is to listen to your body. Now, if you've been through one of Vianey's wellness programs, you're going to know what I mean when I say this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you definitely need to go to Soul Spiral Wellness and get some ideas on what this means. But your body is designed to tell you what's happening. So when we get angry, it's because our body is telling us that something is violating something that we've said. We're feeling threatened by something, and we get angry, or we're feeling hurt or afraid. And so we kind of react with anger. But again, once you learn to drive a car or ride a bike, you no longer process all the little physical balance, vision, peripheral vision, all the different aspects of riding a bike. You no longer focus on those nuances anymore. You just get on the bike and you ride. In life, we do the same thing. We get up every morning, we go to work, we get into a routine, and we just go. It's on autopilot. And if anybody knows anything, as soon as this pandemic sort of hit, it's kind of like the autopilot switch got disabled. And all of a sudden, not one system is on autopilot anymore. So when you used to wake up at a certain time, get dressed, get out the house, and you didn't even have to think about it, you could just do it. You grab your purse, your shoes, your keys, you're out the door. Now it's mask, hand sanitizer, making sure, where am I going? Do I have so what? And then do I have enough money? And what's here? And oh wait, the kids are at home, they're not at school, and they don't come out at 3. So your entire world changes. Now we know this in our brains, but it's really difficult sometimes to connect what we know up here to what we feel in our bodies. And I'm not talking, I feel happy or sad. I'm talking like my chest is pounding. I have a knot in my chest. There's tension in my neck and my shoulders. I'm having headaches when I never used to. I'm not sleeping well. There's so many things. Sometimes even when someone says something, you can almost, if you pay attention, you can almost feel sometimes your body completely retract. Like, ooh, I didn't like that. That didn't feel good. Or someone says something else like, I hear you and it's okay. Like nobody really has this all together right now. And you can kind of release and feel comfort, right? Or safety when someone listens to you. So wellness and what Vianey does can help you get in touch with this a lot more. But it's important, even if you sit for 1 minute every day, take a deep breath, settle into it, and just try to see what sensations in your body you're detecting. Just name them. Sometimes just doing that helps you to kind of calm down, think about your day, and plan for what you're doing. So you have to remember too that your physical, mental, and emotional resources The amount of energy you have in those 3 categories is not infinite. It doesn't run on forever and ever and ever. It runs out. And you have to do things that replenish that. It's not even the same amount every day. You don't even like totally wake up every morning with the same amount of resource as you had the day before. Some days you wake up, you slept really well, you had a great breakthrough with something, and you have a bright idea and you're eager to get on it and you're energized. Other days it's like, oh, why do I even have to function today? Like, not today. So take a minute each day and just practice that. The more you do it, the more you will hear. The more you pay attention and focus on what your body is telling you, the easier it becomes for you to hear what your body is telling you. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're moving fast and trying to innovate and trying to keep up with all the different things that you have to do and meeting your customers where they are and so many different things, you have got to focus on your body, okay? So that you can last for the long haul, so that you can continue to innovate, so that you can have new ideas. Because once you get too activated, you can't really think and problem solve as well. The next tip number 3, is to make sure as an entrepreneur that you are evaluating your systems. So your systems are the how in the way that you deliver your product, your goods, your services. So you want to make sure that you have points in time, if it's once a week, that you take time just to look at what you're doing, look at the how, and make sure that it's working for you. Okay, so you do this regularly, put it on a schedule, depending on the type of business that you have. If you're making bread, you need to know, how many loaves of bread can I make? How much can I sell? And am I doing it in a way that is most efficient? Do I need to change something? Can I prepare something so that I can move a little faster or do a little more? But if you don't take time to evaluate those systems, it can be a little tricky to make changes when you need to, or to recognize when something kind of isn't really working for you. And so I, as a therapist, we try not to use judgment phrases like good or bad or right or wrong. We tend to focus on behaviors and feelings and emotions and coping strategies that are working for you, or the ones that are not working for you because you're not getting the desired result. It is a much less judgmental way of facing systems. I mean, if you just started out out of necessity because of the pandemic, or you've had to transition from your previous entrepreneurship job to a different one, you can't really expect to have it all together in the beginning. So take your time to regularly evaluate the how. Is this working for me? Is it not working for me? Can I sustain this? And be willing to learn new skills, be willing to innovate as you need to. So one thing I found when I had the Facebook page is that people would message, but I wouldn't always see the message. So I was like, okay, I had to learn how to do the automated message so that they got some response or knew how to engage with us a different way in case we missed them on Facebook. Because the last thing you want as a business owner is for a customer to fall through the cracks or to not be able to reach you and get to the product that you're trying to deliver. So you do have to constantly evaluate those systems to make sure that they are working the way that you want and getting you closer to your goal. Tip number 4, I don't know if anybody expected to hear this in a mental health talk, but you have got to find a way to start meeting your own financial needs. Your financial need is one of the biggest causes of stress. Having not enough money or an imbalance of power sometimes, struggles over what we should do with the money or how we're going to get more. Those are the common things that married couples or couples, even if you're not married, fight about. That's a leading cause of divorce. One of the top 5 differences about money. So as an entrepreneur, we are constantly pouring out our physical, mental, emotional energy, our intellectual energy into whatever product we're producing or good that we're delivering. And so you have got to value that. And so even if in the beginning, when you're just starting out, you pour everything back into your business, you're buying more stock, you're putting in more time, you're making sure that you have all the things that you need. And so I don't care about me. I just need this business to work. Okay, but what does that really mean? Your business working means it's working for you. So as soon as you can in your business, make sure you are paying yourself something. And then as you do better, you increase what you're paying yourself. If it slows down, you might have to adjust, but that's the tricky part about being an entrepreneur. If you don't work, you don't get paid. So you've got to pay yourself something and put the rest, maybe reinvest it, yes, into the business. But you also have to think about, if I get sick one day, or I need a mental health day, or I really need to just take a vacation. It doesn't have to be a fancy, expensive vacation. It could be a day trip somewhere just to kind of release your head. But if you're not going to be working that day and you're not going to be collecting any income, or you want to pay for gas and food for that day trip, make sure every week, no matter what it is, the first $5 you make, go somewhere where you don't even count it, you don't even see it. The first $2 you make, start wherever you can. And as you do better, you increase the amount that you're putting away. But you put a little something away for when you need to take a sick day, for when you need to buy something extra, or when you need to take a holiday to make sure that you're able to continue working. Or maybe you need to pay for therapy. I don't know, but save it up because something's going to come up. So make sure you're paying yourself something so that you're contributing to meeting your financial needs, which also helps you to feel a little more steady as you are moving through your entrepreneurial journey. All right. And so the last tip, number 5, and there's a ton more, but we're just focusing on some basic areas right now for entrepreneurs. Take the time for play and fun. So we don't have to be totally meditative and zen all the time. We also need to laugh. We also need to just kind of get in touch with our inner child. And then there's COVID. So the ways that you typically would play and have fun have totally been restricted. And so sometimes we can't even think of anything as exciting as what we used to do. And so I just don't do anything. Well, if that's how you're going to treat it, you might end up in my office a little sooner than you'd like to. But if you want to stay out of my office as long as you can, I would suggest take a walk outside. But when you're doing that, count the number of flowers you see on your walk. Or take a picture of 4 things that make you feel good when you see it. It could be a weed flower in the grass. I love the drain flowers when on the highway, when they grow, they're like these very thick green leaves that kind of curve. And then there's this pretty purple flower. It's a weed and it's blocking up the drains, but it is so pretty when it's like all full and luscious. And I know it shouldn't be, it's better for that not to be there. But it really doesn't matter. Whatever makes you feel good when you see it, take a notice as you're walking outside. It helps you to stay in the present, not so much in your head, and it does relieve stress as you do that. Do a puzzle. We took out a 1,000-piece puzzle because I love butterflies, Monarch Counseling and Consulting, because it represents the whole process of change, the dark phases that no one sees, and then, of course, the beauty that emerges, which is very, very delicate in the butterfly process. But there's so many different things. And we did a puzzle and it had, I don't even know how, must be 50 butterflies. But there were only 25 different kinds, but there were small ones of the same kind and big ones of the same kind. It was totally confusing. And it took us probably about 3 weeks during the lockdown, doing a little bit every day in between doing sessions online. The kids would try to help, but we're like, don't touch anything. And we had to keep the cats off the table so they didn't move the pieces. But it was really relaxing and fun to work together with members of the family, different teams at different times, finding the pieces to this. And it felt really good to complete. Color in a coloring book, you know, if you don't want the basic superhero ones or the basic animal ones, they have pages you can print now online for adult coloring books. They call them adult because they're a little more intricate. But coloring pencils or crayons, it is very relaxing to return to some of your childhood activities, just to kind of, you know, let your brain relax and not constantly be in problem solving mode. Dance to a song you like. I don't care if you can dance or not. It's even more fun if you can, because then we all get to laugh and have fun. But dance to a song you like. Put on the favorite song, blare it as loud as you want, and just dance. I don't even care if it's like a dance, and just do anything. It really doesn't matter, but get your body moving. Listen to some music. Music is one of the things that kind of touches us in places that we can't really touch physically. And so you do connect a lot through music. Some people need to listen to sad songs so that they can get out that cry. Other people need to listen to upbeat songs so that they can stay happy or positive. We use music a lot to affect how we feel. And so dancing to a song you like is a really good way to kind of get in touch with your body and just have a little bit of fun and relax. Watch a comedy. I love comedy shows. But if you have somebody that you particularly like, I'm sure any one of these DVD places will find a comedy show for you. Just call them and ask them. If they don't have it, they're going to find it. And it's $5 or whatever it is. And you play that comedy show. But all of these things are available. You can do them in the comforts of your home or somewhere near your home. Good COVID activities to try to help you decompress as you need to. So to kind of wrap up a couple things, it's really important to recognize that you are absolutely not alone. Even if you don't know another person in the same position as you, trust me, they are. And I think Zahira will give you all a few more resources when I'm done talking, for ways that you can connect and find other people who might be in a similar position as you. But pre-COVID, 49% of entrepreneurs suffer from anxiety. Anxiety is treatable. Depression is treatable. Mental illnesses, no matter what they are, they're treatable. And the earlier you catch them, the easier they are to treat, just like any physical ailment. Okay? I mean, sometimes if you broke a bone when you were 7, it may be an old injury, or, you know, when you were a big basketball star in 6th form and you have an old injury. As you get older, those injuries tend to sometimes cause problems. Similarly, when we have emotional injuries, mental injuries, okay, they can cause problems later on, and they show up often, most often in relationships. And this relationships with your parents, relationships with your spouse or your partner, relationships with your kids, your friends, not just intimate relationships, but they show up in your relationships with other people. And so if you're struggling in those areas, you may need to look and see, what are some mental and emotional injuries I have that are kind of interrupting my ability to flow with other people. Chronic stress and fatigue over time can cause anxiety. It can also weaken all of your major organs. Okay, which is why Vianey does what she does. That's why I do what I do. We work hand in hand, and often we refer to people like her, because you have to stay connected between what your brain knows and what your body feels. And that takes some practice. And sometimes when your feeling is overwhelming, people try to hold it in, right? Or minimize it or push it down. And then the next thing you know, something happens and you just explode. Now, the explosion wasn't in relationship to what just happened. It was just the thing that triggered all this other stuff we've been pushing down forever to kind of burst out without much control. And that's when we can do severe damage to relationships. So there's a lot more that I could say, but the next slide Marco kind of wraps up for me. Two resources that I know about, and I think Zahira will add to this. One, of course, is Monarch Counseling and Consulting. I was in private practice for many years by myself. We have transitioned now to a group practice. So you can check out our website, monarchbelize.com. All of our counselor profiles are there, information about how to engage with us, protocols that we're taking to make sure that people are staying safe. And of course, we are offering telehealth sessions. So we can do it via Zoom, WhatsApp, FaceTime, whatever platform is easiest for you, we can accommodate. The other resource there is Mind Health Connect. It is an NGO that is seeking to end the stigma attached to mental illness and seeking help for mental health illnesses. So Mind Health Connect has a list of as many of the mental health and wellness resources that we have found so far. If you go to that list and you don't see yourself, please send a message on the contact us form and let us know about what you're doing, and we can make sure that you get the profile filled out and you get added to that website. So for full resources, if you are living in a different district or you want to know what else is available, they have private counselors who do private pay sessions one-on-one. They have all of the public resources there. So the community rehabilitation centers in each district that also provide free counseling provided by the government, nurse practitioners, etc. And so again, if you know of a resource that's not listed on the site, please send it to us and let us know. And so we're always trying to update that. So if you know somebody who might need help, but you're not sure where to go or how much it costs, you can get all that information at mindhealthconnect.com and ask any other questions that you may have. Again, thank you so much. And I'll hand it back over to either Zahira or Marco to conduct the next phase. Thanks so much.
That was extremely informative. And honestly, I don't know about my guests, or the viewers, but like coming into this discussion, I was rushing home. I was a bit stressed, getting everything ready, making sure everything is connected, everyone is okay. And just listening to you three ladies talking about mental health, honestly, it just calmed me down. And the breathing exercises that Vianey mentioned and all of that, like really almost put me in a zen that it was like very calming. And I just that really, I mean, you could apply that to your day-to-day business when you're feeling stressed. Just come back to this. This discussion is recorded, and we will upload this on our YouTube channel, the Heritage Education Network Belize YouTube channel, and it will also be available on Facebook. So you could leave a comment days from now or whenever you view this. You could leave a comment, and we'll try to get to you and answer you back, no matter how far it is from today. Now, Zahir, you have any final words before we get into the
Well,
Q&A?
thank you very much, Ms. Christa and Vianey, for sharing with us your presentation. Very informative, very helpful. Even I have, I feel like I've learned a lot and I've calmed down a lot. Just like Marco, I mean, I was rushing home from the business, and when also something I've noticed is when you are a business owner or an entrepreneur or a manager or a supervisor, you like being involved in different things. So it's normally like you go from this to that and you're just jumping all over the place. I just want to repeat what Ms. Christa said. One resource that is very helpful is Mind Health Connect. You can find them on Facebook, on Instagram, and visit their website. They have very helpful things there. The resources are available. Check them out. I do know that they have a very complete database. The resources you'll find there is it's not only like Ms. Krista said, it's not only mental health practitioners, not only counselors, not only psychologists, it's also gyms, also yoga studios, all sorts of places that can help you with your mental health. So check it out, reach out if you need to. Normally, mental health advocates are very willing to help. I mean, we love when people realize, oh, I need some help, and they seek it. We welcome that. We love that. So do not be shy. Just reach out. Now, Marco, we can maybe continue on to Q&A.
Yes. For viewers, I think we have about 30 ad viewers right now. If you could leave a question in the comments, I could highlight it on the discussion on the live, and we could answer that for you. So just ask away. In the meantime, I'll highlight a couple comments. Another director of Heritage Education Network Belize. She mentioned just listening to your voices during these live discussions makes me super calm. Thank you. We have another comment here just to bounce off of what Zahira said. That's true. The numerous businesses that have popped up in the past few months that I have come across are 9 out of 10 times owned by a woman. And as I saw, one of them shared, women are resilient throughout this pandemic. That's very, very true.
That's also just side note. That's also like scientifically true. Women are a lot more resilient. I mean, just an example. I mean, based on statistics, when a couple grows old together, and the man dies, the husband or the spouse dies, when a wife dies, normally the old man doesn't take very long after, and they pass away. Whereas women, many times we realize that they live for years longer. Like they bounce back a lot. I wouldn't say easier or faster, but they're a lot more resilient than men. So there are many examples of that, of how women are very resilient. And I don't know if it's a biological or a neurological trait. I don't know if it's the fact that we are more open to speaking about our mental health and seeking help for it. But I hope that men can also be as resilient. I mean, men should also be able to reach out, and many times there's this taboo that, well, man no cry, where that's counterproductive. Like, there are resources. It is okay. Men are resilient too. Just embrace it, really. Embrace the stress and anxiety, and let's work through it.
Yeah, and that's, as a man, I have to say that that's true. I mean, us as men really have to think more forward and more be more innovative in how we conduct our business and everything, especially in Belize. I noticed that's more of a situation in Belize mostly. But the way I adapted really is I realized that with the pandemic, you really do need an online presence. Right? Being that you can't be out as much, you really have to take care and stay at home as much as you can. You have to find a way, like businesses have to find a way to have an online presence. And just by knowing that, I developed a business or a service where I offer to help them have an online presence with graphic designing, with websites, with apps, with applications on your phone. I started doing that with my business, and from there, I'm helping a lot of people, a lot of businesses to do some flyers for Facebook, for Instagram, as well as a couple websites. So in my case, I really had to adapt and change a lot of the services that we used to offer in the past. So now we're more offering and aiming towards a bit more of an online marketing in a way.
And that is much needed,
You have any?
Marco. I may call you later. Because again, as entrepreneurs, we're kind of trying to figure it all out on our own. And so any of those little things that you can kind of delegate to somebody who already knows how to do it, even if it's a, per minute type of thing, or one service delivered at a time, and you build on it over time, those things are really, really helpful. And it's always important as an entrepreneur. I mean, invention is born out of necessity. And so, yes, I need an income, so I have to find something that somebody wants that I can provide. Right? And food seems to be one of those things. I mean, no matter pandemic or no pandemic, whoever was selling food, they had business. And I have explored food spots more than I ever have before in my life because, you know, more people are advertising. It's actually reaching me. I'm learning about different things. So it is very necessary.
I agree. Very, very necessary. Do we have any questions here? Okay, we'll just be on for another maybe 5 minutes and just waiting for any questions to come in. But in the meantime, I do have one question. This could go for the three of you. What if, for example, in my situation where I came back from studying, I was working in Mexico for a bit. I came back and I took over the family business. And I was bright, I was energetic, and then all of a sudden the pandemic hit. And then we had the lockdown, I had to close down, and I felt like I came back to a dead end. I'm pretty sure a lot of other business owners or entrepreneurs felt that way. And also students that are still studying and are about to graduate that are planning to open a business in this new era with the pandemic. What advice would you really give them to cope with that stress, to cope with that anxiety that we face on a daily basis?
I think if it's okay, I'll start with that one. On top of all the other tips and things that we've discussed already, Zahira, you kind of mentioned something too about, and Vianey, I think, you know, what do I have to offer? You know, trying to, or there's so many people already doing this. Where do I fit in? I think is what you said, Vianey. And anytime you're starting something new, you can tend to have they call it the imposter syndrome, where you kind of feel like you don't belong because you're just starting out. There's so many things you don't know. Like Vianey mentioned, all the self-doubt. And you really have to kind of figure out, you know, as many books as I have read on different topics related to counseling or therapy or issues or relationships, you know, there's always a voice that I tend to kind of come back to over and over again, or a particular writer or a particular researcher. I really connect with their style, how they deliver their message, the type of work that they're doing. And Vianey, I know, for instance, when I direct people to trying to get introduced to things like yoga and wellness, at first, one of the things we recommend is just explore all the different voices that are out there and see which one you find that you connect with. So Marco, to answer your question, people who are struggling to know what their next step is, or to connect with the fear of the unknown, it's to remember that if you're connected to providing a service or meeting the need of your customer in some niche way, I don't care who else is out there doing it. There is a market for your voice, for your taste, for your flavor, for your delivery, for your product. There might be 10 different people that are doing what you're doing, Marco, right? But there's different levels, there's different styles, there's different ways that you communicate with your customer. And some people want hand holding and some people just want you to get it done. Don't talk to me and tell me all the process in the middle, just deliver. And so no matter what you're doing, there is space for you if you are authentically connected to what you're doing. You're trying to meet a need and you continue to hone that as you go along.
Okay. Okay, and I'll take that into note. I mean, that's true. That's something I had to realize until now. I actually fully realize it. Where like I am unique in the sense that my product is unique, my service is unique, and people will come to me because of my unique product, my unique service. We do have one question here from Ella. How can you help someone to overcome the stigma around asking for help in your family or friend circle?
I could start with that one too, and one of you jump in if you hear something that you want to add on to. It can be really tricky. So it's a very good question, actually. And part of it is to make sure that one of the let me see where I'm starting with this, but one of the things that we have encouraged people to do, somebody comes and says, "Oh, my sister really needs to come, but I don't know if she'll ever do it." The idea is to remember that a person's decision to accept help is their own personal decision. They have to feel safe. They have to feel comfortable with whatever the next step is. They don't necessarily have to feel comfortable with the end goal, but they need to feel comfortable with the next step. So sometimes it can be as simple as saying, "I will call and make the appointment for you. I can go with you to the first appointment. I can even sit in with you if you'd like." Or that you just offer it and then back off a little bit. Wait for another open moment, offer it again. But of course, leaving the decision to take up the offer totally in the other person's hands without judgment, without accusation. "Well, I keep offering help and you don't want to take it, so I don't want to hear it." Like those kinds of things can sometimes push people further and further away from getting the help that they need. So it's recognizing that everybody has their own place of readiness. One of the first quotes that I ever used when I opened my practice was, "Change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change." Facing your issues are not easy. It's not easy to do. And so someone really has to be ready to go through facing that. Sometimes it's not even like that they don't want help. They're just not sure what all they have to do to actually get it. So there's a lot of fear of the unknown that keep people from reaching out or accepting help. But if you are gentle and make it super, super safe and hold your judgment back, I don't care how much of it you have, after you're not in the person's earshot or face, you could let it out to yourself in your car, but don't let it out on other people. You shoulda, you coulda, you just need to. All of those things are judgment statements. You shouldn't feel that way. You should be appreciative. You should be grateful. You never pay attention to when I talk to you. You always, you never, you should, you need to, you have to. All of those things are judgmental. And when people start to hear sentences that start with those words, they tend to kind of retract and shut down because they don't generally feel safe. So one way that you can help somebody overcome the stigma is loosing the stigma yourself. Stigma is judgment. It's a judgment we've made about a particular group. It's a judgment we've made about a mental illness. It's a judgment we've made about having heart disease. Whatever it is, it's a judgment that we have. And those are shaped by how you grew up, what your mama knew, what your grandmama knew, what your auntie told you, your big cousin, and who the hell taught them. We all have shit messages that we got that don't make any sense, but we hold on to them like they're gospel. Right? And so check yourself. And then you can kind of see, all right, if somebody is trying to make me change something, how would I want them to approach me? So I hope that.
And I think also one of the most important things that Miss Christa mentioned is getting that it has to come from that person to want that change, to yearn for a change. And many times what happens is because there's a stigma, it's difficult to talk about things that I'm struggling with. It's difficult to say, instead of saying I haven't been eating or I haven't been sleeping, to say I have very bad anxiety. I'm really stressed. Sometimes it's difficult to admit that. And just starting a conversation about, like Miss Krista said, you need to be very gentle. You can't just tell somebody, "Yeah, you're stressed," or "Why that the anxiety?" And I need to check it with like professional. Instead of saying things like that, you could approach someone like, "Well, how have you been feeling? Can you put those things into words?" And don't just say, "Oh, well, my heart now start don't start beat fast." Like, can you elaborate on it a bit more? From a holistic approach, can you tell me what's going on your body, but also in your mind? Try to help them piece it together little by little, baby steps, really, until they realize or they accept that there is space, there's an opportunity to be a better person, to grow as an individual. Because, I mean, we all go through stressful events, stressful situations. We all live with some type of anxiety many times. And I mean, I am the type of person who I know when I am anxious or when I'm feeling anxiety, when I'm too stressed, and I'm not afraid to just stop everything and say, okay, like Vianney said, like Miss Krista said, now I need to like really just pay attention to my body, pay attention to my mind, and see what it's trying to tell me. And sometimes, honestly, the problem is that we don't have time for that. Or no, I said that incorrectly. We don't make time for that because everyone can schedule in that time. Some
Yeah.
people pray, some people reflect, you know. I mean, I have a friend who says, well, um, I really stressed out. I need to go have a conversation with God. That is his thing. That is his time to sit down and listen to what is going on in his life, what is going on with his body, with his thoughts. Put them all, get all those ducks in a row, and really just admit to yourself, okay, this is what is happening. This is what I have to try to do. And in a very safe, if you are understanding as a friend or a family member, if you are patient and you are gentle, then you create that environment that is safe for that person to feel like, okay, now I feel like I can come back and talk about it with you. Or maybe I need to seek out a different type of help, I'm sorry, with other people.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to add to all of that was said already. Removing the stigma, like Krista mentioned, we have to check in with ourselves constantly. And the only way you can provide a level of safety for other people is to know that you can feel safe within yourself. And that takes a lot of deep reflection, right? Another thing is that what I find with the way I operate my business is that, a lot of time people tend to shy away from opening up. And so I put myself in a place where I am vulnerable in sharing my stories with them, in sharing a part of my journey, rather than just telling them, hey, you need to do this and you need to do that. No, give people the space to listen to what you've experienced and then come up with what they feel like they need. Because a lot of times storytelling is so powerful. The fact that I shared some of my story today might have helped someone else say, oh, you know what? I'm not the only one going through this. Right. So I think that's something that we really need to cultivate as a society, being honest with ourselves and learning how to hold space for people, not trying um, to push anything on anyone else, but learning that you need to remove a lot of the self-judgment around yourself in order for you to do that with other people as well. So yeah.
Thank you for the advice. I mean, from my perspective, I had to really do that self evaluation. I was I was angry, I was frustrated, and I realized it was affecting people around me. my close relationships. So I had to just do that self-evaluation and be like, you know what, I do need to talk to someone. I do need to, find help at least. And I did, and that's how I managed to overcome this this issue that I had with anxiety and the struggles, just that blockage that you have. As a designer, I even had this creative block that I just couldn't design. I couldn't come up with anything. But after seeking some help, just with some friends, talking to some friends, I managed to overcome that. And that's the main reason why I wanted to do this talk, to because I went through that and I overcame it for the most part. I wanted to pass this on to everyone, that whoever views this, whoever is going through the same issues, that's one, you do need to realize that you do need help. You can't do everything yourself. You do need help, and if you need help, please find help. And secondly, that you can overcome this. It's not the end of the world. It's not dead end. You can overcome this. And
And I think that's really cool, Marco, that you were able to like identify and accept and voice out these things that were going on inside you. I think many times as entrepreneurs or business owners, there's a lot going on. I mean, at home, at work, and in your own mind, because you are a creator. You have to constantly be finding new ways to make things attractive and to sell your products, to sell yourself in your products. And that can be very stressful to always be like an idea generator, you know? And I think I can also personally say that sometimes I have it to my advantage that I have many friends who are professional psychologists and counselors, and I can reach out to them and say, "Oh my goodness, I need your help." But even I get to that point where, and I think I am currently at that place, where I need to admit to myself, okay, this has been a heavy year professionally and personally, and I just need someone who is going to be objective with me, a professional who is trained to help me sort out my thoughts, a professional who studied how to help. And even that, like, I think many people don't want to get to that point in which they say, it's easy to, like, talk to your friends, and many friends are helpful, many friends do create a safe environment, but not many friends are professionally trained to be objective and really lay it on you, dude. Like, just really tell you this, and that, and let's work it out, you know? So I think even that is something to consider.
Yeah, and I think just to add on to that, and I know we need to wrap up shortly, but a lot of people think that you have to be crazy to go to therapy. And I will tell you that I see the least crazy people on the planet. I see people who are fighting every day with their sensations, their fears, their thoughts, their emotions, things that just keep happening sometimes to people in their lives over and over and over again. This year alone has been like mind blowing. And there's a lot more to go. And so just like if you want to get a certain result physically, you go to a personal trainer. If you notice that, you're having some symptoms and you might have a heart condition, you go to a cardiologist. If you think, because you looked it up on Dr. Google and you might have cancer or some other disease, you go and get a second opinion by a doctor who's trained to tell you if you're right or if Dr. Google has led you wrong. So you're not taking medications you shouldn't be taking or whatever the case. And I just really want it to be more normal for people to reach out for mental and emotional support when they feel drained repeatedly. If I'm bawling and crying for longer than 2 weeks, every single day uncontrollably, if my eating habits have changed significantly, if I am, disengaging with people that I normally enjoy being with, if I'm finding where I used to sleep through the night, now I can't, I'm having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, and there's a couple of these things going on all at once, that's a really good reason to kind of get in touch with a therapist. Sometimes you just need a few quick tips. Sometimes we need to explore deeper mental or emotional injuries and trauma. I think we just think, because I live like that, because that happened 20 years ago, you just get used to it. You just stop thinking about it. Nobody wants to remember it. And you really do need somebody trained that you connect with, that you trust, that you feel safe with. And just like I send people to explore wellness instructors or educators, you have to sometimes shop therapists. If you meet with a therapist and it doesn't go great, you don't connect, you don't feel safe, that's not the only option you have. Keep shopping. We all have a different style. We all have different ways that we speak and we connect. And so just like you, if you're pregnant and you go to a gyno and they don't ask or answer your questions the way you like, you don't feel comfortable, you go to a next one. Right? But when it comes to mental health professionals, it takes so much courage, so much strength to ask for help that first time. And if that first meeting doesn't go well, sometimes people then just pull back and they don't explore any other options. And I just want to encourage you, if you do not connect with your therapist, try a different one. Because you do have to find the voice that you connect with, that you feel safe with, because you have to feel safe in order to explore some of these things. And that's our job, to be non-judgmental and to help you feel safe. It goes into the colors that we create for our offices. This is not the color of my office. This is another piece here. I do have very cool, calming colors. But it goes into everything that we do. I'm sure, like Vianey, your process, how you engage with people from start to finish is just trying to help people feel safe and calm. And that's exactly what we do. And it is very individualized and personalized to you and your set of circumstances. So please remember that. Marco?
Thank you, Miss Krista. That's very, very good advice. Um, so I would just like to wrap up by giving a few seconds to everyone here to just shout out their own business, since this is an entrepreneur talk. So just everyone to just shout out their own business and how can we, or our viewers, find you and in some cases talk to you. You could start with Zahira.
Okay, I am part of a business called Luz, Loz. Many people confuse it with Luz, but no, it's Luz, and it stands for Lozano. Here in Orange Walk Town, we have two locations. We recently invested in a second location this year, so we also got a taste of that during COVID. You can find us on Facebook as Luz, under Luz, Loz, or on Instagram as at luz.bz. I'd like to consider that we're a self-care cafe. Why? Because, well, we offer things like coffee, hot, frozen, iced, slushies, ice creams. I mean, all these treats that you can have when you really just need a break, when you need some self-care time, and I'm there. And I'd like to think that I like to connect with my customers. I like engaging with them. I like hearing about, because many of them are also business owners. For example, like there's this guy who runs a taco stand. And every time he goes, I ask him, like, how are you? How's the business? And so we just take a few minutes for him to just, while he waits for his coffee, he just releases some of that stress. Or if he's had it bottled up all day, like he just gets some time to just take it out. So I'd like, and also at the first, when I'm not there, our staff is very friendly, very welcoming and warm. So we try to make the environment very happy, very calming for everyone. So again, you can find us on Facebook as Luz or on Instagram, luz.bz. Now we go to Vianney.
So, I'm so grateful to be here. This is just a blessing, and I just wanted to say that it's quite refreshing to connect with other people who, have similar views as I do. So, if you would like to connect with me, I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Soul Spiral Wellness. I also have my website www.soulspiralwellness.com. If you feel like you want one-on-one coaching sessions with me, that's available. If you feel like you just need mindfulness sessions at the end of your day to help you calm down, I'm offering a 10 session package that's 50% off during the Christmas season. Especially because I know like a lot of people are having difficult times. Like Christmas, the holidays isn't always happy for a lot of people, and I'm providing 30-minute mindfulness sessions. You don't need to have experience in any of this. I will walk you through it, teach you some breathing techniques that will help you to calm down and that you can implement into your life after that. And also, I am also offering my 5-week wellness program. We're currently going through one right now. We're on week 4, so we'll be finishing up next week. But if that's something that you're interested in, it's a women's only wellness program. And we're starting another one in mid-January. So when everything settles down with Christmas and everything, we're getting right back on track. Um, if you want to deepen your relationship with yourself, take the time that you need for you. Like they mentioned, a lot of times we say, oh, we don't have time. You learn how to make time in that program, right? And that's the biggest act of self-love that you can do, is give yourself time to work out, to breathe, to connect with yourself, to journal, to dance, to play, anything that you need. Take that time for you because you deserve it, especially us as business owners. So yes, definitely. If you'd like to reach me, definitely contact me via Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, Miss Krista.
Thank you again, Zahira and Marco, for inviting me to participate. And Vianney, it was beautiful reconnecting with you and what you're doing now. That's totally awesome. We are Monarch Counseling and Consulting. And I really like that the person who designed my logo, unfortunately, wasn't Marco. I didn't know you then. But when they did the little feather thing in the O for the Monarch, it was a combination of the butterfly wing and a feather, because she connected with, after talking to me or engaging, that she always left feeling lighter. And that's exactly what therapy is all about. We walk around and we carry so many things. We wear so many hats without even thinking about it. Sometimes we just spring into action. We respond or react. But when you find that emotionally, mentally, and physically things are starting to kind of pop out of sync and not really work as well, it's a good idea to see a therapist. I mean, we do aromatherapy with candles. You do physical therapy if you break something or have an injury or a stroke or something and you need to build back your strength. We do lots of different types of therapy. Bath therapy, I love taking a bath. It's some music and just relax. So we think about therapy in a lot of different ways, but when it comes to mental health, there seems to be like, ooh, I don't need that kind of therapy. But therapy is designed, remember, to prevent your mental and emotional deterioration. It's designed to help you as an individual make yourself whole again so that you can tackle what you want to tackle, have the types of relationships you want to have, wake up and have a good sense of how you want to move through your day, what you want to bring into your life, what you need to keep out. And it really does help you to heal. And so Monarch Counseling and Consulting is there. We also provide counseling services for companies who have employee assistance programs, which is an excellent initiative where they provide counseling services to their employees who are having personal struggles. Again, to reduce the amount of time away from work, to try and retain an employee rather than someone having to quit because of all the stress maybe happening from a personal issue. And we want a lot less downtime, time out from work because of personal issues. So EAP services we provide in a very confidential and private way. And we also do consulting. So companies or groups, retreats for organizations, whatever it is that you need, we can tailor a package to meet your needs. So please do not hesitate to check out the therapist on our website, monarchbelize.com, and to check us out on Facebook or Instagram, Monarch Counseling and Consulting on Facebook, and I think it's Monarch CC Belize on Instagram. But the best way to reach us is either through the website, or one of those. You can message us and we'll get in touch with you. Thank you again for having us.
Okay, awesome. And I would like to thank our viewers as well, especially those that commented. Thank you for leaving such heartfelt comments. Lucy Veos, Ryan Rodriguez, Abner Waza. What else do we have here? Ashanti Garcia. Thank you all. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm Marco Vasquez. I'm currently the manager for Gamma Solutions. That's GAMAA Solutions with an S. And you can find us on Facebook, also on Instagram as gammasolutions.bz. We started off as a computer repair store that does printing and typing. And then we have evolved now to more design, graphic designing. We have evolved to corporate photography, as well as logo designing. And what I bring to the table is programming, like website design, also application design. So if you guys need a website or a flyer for social media, if you need to maybe rebrand your social media a bit, you can contact me or contact me on my page. It's Gamma Solutions. Again, thank you to our guests tonight. Thank you all for coming on tonight. I know it's a Friday and it's the end of the week. You want to be home and just relax. Thank you for giving us your time to come and do this talk and try to help others as well. Okay, well, now we'll.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone. And I'd just like to add that Vianey had us practice a breathing technique before this live because we were slightly nervous, and she is really good. So check her out if you if you need to, if you can. She's really good. Miss Christa, I've known her for years, and I appreciate her a lot. She's very good at what she does. And Monarch, check them out. Even Marco. I recently met Marco through Rotoractor, both Rotoractors, and we've had some discussions about his business, about his work, and also very talented guy. So check out our entrepreneurs. Thank you for showing us love. I was checking the comments when little breaks that I took. Thank you for all the love, for all the comments that I've seen. I hope other people check out this video when it's posted up because I think we have all learned a lot from this session. So thank you and have a very good night and a great weekend.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.